Hello, I hope this finds you in good health, you and yours and your family. Well, I have decided instead of sending you a new video, which I'm going to do sometime later, I decided to send you and to show you 2 examples of examinations in grammar for the S2 for the second semester and how to correct it. These are 2 samples. I think it will be much better. Now, the first exercise, as you can see, is the examination in grammar 2016. When you have here, so please you follow the pointer here. As you can see it, this is the small hand, so you need to see it. Write your names in capital letters. Of course, you have to write your family name, your first name and group number, of course, on the day of the examination. Now the first exercise is on pronoun. Put the right pronoun in the blanks. So here you have blanks and you have to put the right pronoun. We have seen there are different types of pronouns and you have to select anyone which is suitable. So I don't like people lose their temper easily. So here I have verb here. It needs an object. So here will be I don't like people who lose their temper easily. So who, a relative pronoun. Why? Because it is related to this. So this, the doer of this action is the same as people, since it is the subject, so we put who. The second one, I think you should stay faithful to the person whom you're married to. The person here is you are married, is the object of you are married to that person. It is related to this. It functions as an object, so you have to put whom. Third sentence, he asked me to give him a help for his work. I couldn't refuse. I did so. So it replaces the whole clause. I couldn't refuse, I did so. So it doesn't simply replace a noun, but it replaces asked me to give him help for his work. So I did so, it means just these 2 letters, S-O, okay, is a pronoun that replaces the whole clause. Number 4, talking to yourself or oneself is the sign of madness. So here, talking to oneself or yourself, this is a reflexive noun. It means that you talk to yourself. The subject and the object here must be the same. So we use the reflexive pronoun. Number 5, he tore up all the family photos which upset me. Here, photos upset me, which, you see that we have a comma. Do not forget the comma. It is a non-defining clause. And which, it is a thing. Okay, you cannot say that. You have to use which because it is a non-defining and we have a comma here. The police have arrested 3 murders. At the moment, they are questioning them for information about last month's bank robbery. At the moment, they are. The police, they are. They replaces the police. Questioning them replaces the 3 murderers. I have bought a jumper in this shop. Is ripped. Can you give me another? The answer is, I have bought a jumper in this shop. It is ripped. It is the jumper. It's a thing. It is ripped. It is torn. Can you give me another one? It means another jumper. They don't seem to understand what is happening. So here we have an indirect question to understand what is happening. The next exercise, let us carry on with another exercise of pronouns. This exam was, as you can see, in 2018. Correct the errors in pronouns usage. Here, when we were at school, my friend and me used to work together every afternoon. Now here, my friend and me and I used to work together. I used. We don't say me used, but we say I used. Number 2. My friend asked to borrow my book because she had forgotten her at home. Here, the mistake is here, hers. Number 3, take care of you. You have worked so hard that you need a week's holiday. Here, we have take, it's the imperative. The subject is you. Now, when the subject and the object is the same, you take care of yourself. Number 4. That car is ours. Their. Their here is a possessive adjective. It is not a possessive pronoun. Now, what is the possessive pronoun? Is theirs. 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 It means their car. That car is ours. Theirs is parked in the garage. Maria and Juan gave themselves gold rings on their wedding day. No, you don't give yourself a gold ring on your wedding day. Maria gave a wedding ring to Juan, and Juan gave another wedding ring to Maria. Maria and Juan gave each other gold rings on their wedding day. Another exercise on pronouns. On the streets of London, there are about 50,000 homeless people aged 16 and 19. Their number is increasing rapidly. There are some people want to help the homeless. Unfortunately, since April 1988, 16 and 70-year-old people do not get assistance from the government and unemployment is high. So, is the solution? Should the homeless be given more assistance or should be left to look after? Here you have to fill in the blanks with the correct pronouns. Pause the video if you need to think. Let us correct. Here there are some people who want. So who, relative pronoun, functioning as subject. And then we have, so what is the solution? What is the solution? And then, should the homeless be given more assistance or should they, the homeless, be left to look after themselves? Another exercise on pronouns. Build 2 sentences using a self-pronoun as reflexive and emphasizing. Here, you had to write 2 sentences. One using it as a reflexive pronoun. It means the subject and object of the verb should be the same. And the second one emphasizing or intensive pronoun. For example, the first one would be, yesterday I prepared myself for the party. I prepared myself. I and myself, the same person, for the party. Number 2, intensive example. I myself did the homework. What does it mean? It means myself here is not an object, but just for emphasis. It emphasizes that I did the homework myself and nobody helped me. Exercises on adjectives. So here we have exercise on adjective. Pause the video if you want to do the exercise on your own. The correction will be, the instructions are, put the adjectives between parentheses in their correct form. Number 1, nowadays more and more people immigrate most of the time to find better. So good, you have the adjective good, the comparative of good is better, and the superlative is best. To find better professional positions and improve their living conditions. Living, L-I-V-I-N-G. Here it functions as a participial. It's the ing not functioning as a gerund but functioning as a participial. What does it mean? Like, for example, a washing machine. So you have, it's a machine for washing. Washing here functions as an adjective. Number 2, like most of the teenage friends, I have a mobile phone and it is hard for me to imagine my life without it. For example, I am freer than before to call my friends. Without it, I could say my life would be less easy. We have the comparative form. The comparative form, you have either equal comparison or unequal comparison. Equal comparison, so you have as, adjective, and as. Equal comparison, he is as tall as his father. This is equal comparison. And if you have to use as, you need to use an adjective and a second as after it. Now, unequal comparison, you have 2 types. You have the superior and the inferior. You have, for example, he is taller. He is taller than his father. Or he is more handsome than his father. So this is the superior. And then you have the inferior. Less. He is less tall than his father. He is less handsome than his father. We have equal comparison and unequal comparison. Equal comparison, we put adjectives between as and as. Unequal, either you add to the adjective er if it is a short word, or you put more before the adjective if it is a long one. And then you have to put then. The rule is you should never mix between as and then. For example, you cannot say he is as taller than. No, you have to choose. Either you formulate the equal comparison or the unequal one. Here, since I am comparing, I am freer than before. Okay? And then less easy. So we have in the first example, we have a superior comparison, and the second one an inferior one. Number 3, to make life fuller, more attractive, more involved, the TV addicts must change their habits. Number 4, when facing striking poverty, either you start sharing what you have or you persuade yourself you can't save the world on your own. The best. Now the best is the superlative. Best, so you have superlative. To make the superlative, you have a regular adjective and irregular adjectives. Now the regular adjectives, you have like tall, taller than, so the adjective tall, the comparative taller than, and then the superlative, the tallest, the plus adjective plus est. Okay, this is the superior. If it is a long word, the most handsome, most plus adjective. Now this is the superior superlative, and then you have the inferior superlative, the least tall. Okay, the least tall. Here, this is an example of regular adjective formation in the comparative and superlative forms. However, if you take irregular adjectives like good or bad, bad is the adjective, worse than is the comparative form, and then the worst, the superlative form of bad. Good is the adjective, and then you have better than is its comparative form, and then you have the best, its superlative. So here the best solution is probably to volunteer for and so on, for humanitarian holidays with professionals whose action is well organized and therefore more efficient. Now let's go to another exercise on adjectives. You can pause the video if you want to do it on your own. Fill in the gaps with the right form of the adjectives in brackets. The brighter you are, the larger the choice you have for a career. Here, it means the brighter you are, the larger. Okay? The nicer you are, the more people will like you. Or the kinder you are, the more likable you will be, for example. And then he was one of the most gifted students in his class. So here we use the superlative. It's up to you to use the comparative form, whether it is the equal or unequal comparison, or the superlative form, or the neutral form, or the ing, the participial. So it's up to you to use it depending on what is required from you. Because of his insistence on his vocation, their relation got worse and worse. Number 4, his mother was certainly calm of the two. Number 5, his life is a life of drudgery. She would like an easier life. She would have liked a better life with a more handsome husband. Number 6, the elder or older of the two sisters was probably Mary. Here the elder or the older. Both are adjectives. Either you started with E or O. Both are acceptable. Okay, we carry on with the exercise 2. With exercise 2, you already have somehow the correction. Sorry for being, I didn't find another copy. That was the last one I had. Write 2 sentences using the 2 superlative forms of adjective late. So late is another, it's like bad and good, is an irregular adjective. So you have last and latest. It has the comparative form later than and 2 superlative forms, last and latest. The difference, what does it mean? Last is the new one. The latest means the final one. The last play of Shakespeare was this and that. Okay, so try to write down 2 sentences with these 2 examples. Now, exercise C, transform the underlined phrases into adjectives used as nouns. Here, so these according to the meaning, you have to transform them into an adjective. Sometimes you have, for example, the poor, the old, the sick, the rich. These are normally, when you say poor, it is an adjective, but if you say the poor, it becomes a noun, or the rich, it becomes a noun. Here, we need to change this. All those people without a home have to make. This means the homeless. If we take out the, we have just homeless. It is an adjective, but as soon as we add the, it becomes a noun. Nobody stays at home except those who are sick and those who are old. The sick, the old. A blind man should always be helped in becoming independent. Okay, I can say the blind. I can put the blind here. Now, another exercise on adjectives. Adjectives can be used in only one position. That is to say, attributively. What does it mean attributively? It means before a noun. Like the nice girl. Nice and girl. Nice can occur before the noun. Other adjectives can come after the verb. For example, she is happy. Now, happy here, or she is nice. Nice here does not occur before a noun, but it occurs after the verb. That's the difference. So, for example, mention one from each category and use them in sentences. Now you need to pay attention. Most of the adjectives occur in both places, means either attributively or predicatively. Like, for example, the nice girl came into the classroom, or she is a nice girl. So the first one is used attributively and the second one is used predicatively and attributively, because it is she is a nice girl. So she is after a verb and before a noun. In this case, it is nice and happy, and different other adjectives can occur in both positions. However, some adjectives can be used in only one position, like, for example, she is awake. Now here, awake, you cannot say the awake person. No, she is asleep, or the asleep person. Asleep can only be after the verb to be. Check your handout for this part and try to write a few sentences and use them as examples. Now let's move to tenses. You can stop the video if you want to do the exercise, and then you have the correction. Put in the right tense. The Hollywood stamp. Some Hollywood subjects proved so popular over the years that they developed in major themes such as the Western, science fiction, horror, war films, etc. The values expressed in these movies conquered the world, and their universal appeal had given, by the mid-1990s, the US control of some of 85% of the world film market. Now, the thing is, why have I used the simple past in all the three blanks, and here I have used the past perfect? It's very simple. Here I have a date. If I have a date in the past, I have to use the simple past. So since it is a narration, I cannot start with one tense then change to another tense. I started with one tense, the same tense, and the same tense. Okay? And then you have by. Okay? Here, had given. What does it mean? Had given, the past perfect, means it is before all this. It happened. The past perfect is the past of the simple past. More than any other industry, this domination by one nation has had tremendous economic and cultural implications. Now, what is the difference? Why I have used has had, the present perfect. Why? Simply because there is no time marker here. Remember, has, the difference between the simple past and the present perfect is simply time marker. If you say yesterday, this is a time marker. Yesterday I saw the movie, or I saw a movie. Why am I using saw in the past? Because it is yesterday, because it is a time marker. Now, if I do not put a time marker, I have seen a movie, okay? You know it is in the past, but you do not know when exactly, or you don't want to say. You just use the present perfect. So here I don't have the time marker and it is in the past. The time is indefinite, it is not known. I use has had. tremendous economic and cultural implications. For generations, in every part of the world, the dreams of the film consuming young. For generations, it means that in the past, in the present, and still in the future. So this is a statement. And for statement, for generalities, we use the simple present tense. For generations, in every part of the world, the dreams of the film consuming young seem to have been shaped in the American image. Second exercise, pause the video if you want to do it before the correction. I'll watch television when, so here you have to finish the following to form correct tenses. Now, there is no to here, it's a mistake. I'll watch television when. So here, if you see when, up to now, I wish, I'm sure, after, when you see them, you are obliged to conjugate a particular verb in a particular tense. So this is expressing the future. When expressing the future, after when, or as soon as, or before, and after, we do not use the future tense. We use instead the simple present tense. I will finish, or I will watch television when I finish washing the dishes, for example. When I finish. I finish why? So whenever you have to express the future, after, when, as soon as, before, and after, when expressing the future, you conjugate them into the simple present tense. You do not use the future tense, never ever after when. Number 2, up to now plus present perfect. Up to now, it means in the past and still going on now. Up to now, I haven't understood Kant philosophy, for example. I wish. Now, what is the difference between I hope and I wish? With I hope, something may happen. I wish is unreal present. It means that something may not happen, cannot happen. For example, I wish I were you. I can never be you. So I wish I were you. I wish I had a car, which means I could never have a car, or maybe in a very long time. So I wish plus simple past means unreal present. It means something you wish for the present but you cannot have. And then, I'm sure you will succeed. Inshallah, of course. I'm sure you will succeed. So I'm sure plus future. And then, after I went back. So when you have a simple past here, after, you need to have the past perfect. Okay? If you have here before, you put the simple past, and here the past perfect. I repeat, if you have, so this is a sentence of 2 clauses. So you can have here the simple past, 1 clause, the second clause with after, you have the past perfect. If I have before, simple past, and here past perfect. So with after plus past perfect plus simple past, or before plus simple past plus past perfect. After I had talked to the teachers, I went back home. After I had talked to the teachers, it means this action happened before this one. So this one was first, this one happened first, and then this one next. And then, I was washing my hands on the loo when. When, also, when I was washing my hands. You have when here. I was washing. This tense, how do we call it? The past continuous. When you have 2 clauses, so here I have 1 clause in the past continuous. The second one should be in the simple past. I was washing my hands on the loo when the telephone rang, or when she came. So with when here, you have 1 clause with the past continuous, and when introduces the simple past. If, for example, here instead of when I have while, I would have past continuous with while. But with when, I have past continuous and simple past. Third exercise. Correct the one verb tense error in each of the sentences. Teams of historians of different nationalities are still studying the civilizations of the past and tried. So here, this is a mistake. You have tried. We are still. So are here is in the simple present. Here it must be. There is no time marker. Here we keep the same tense. Try, T-R-Y. Hard to discover every useful act that will help them to understand many things. The historian explained that the people have thought that the pharaohs had a divine origins. Here, explained in the simple past, the historian explained. What did they explain? Something before the explanation of the historians. So here had is the past perfect, and this, okay, this and this should have the same tense. Had thought, had. All these happened before the findings of the historians or explanation. Don't telephone after 8. I'll have a dinner party. The correction here is, this is the mistake. I will be having a dinner party. It means during that moment, the continuity of all this, I will be having a dinner party. 4. He has published his first book at the age of 20. Now imagine somebody who is 60 years old. Actually, it is a time marker. Okay, so we cannot use the present perfect. Remember, if I don't have a time marker, I cannot use the present continuous. I have to use the past. He has published his first book at the age of 20. Number 5. He parked his car under a no parking sign and rushed into the shop. When he came out of the shop 10 minutes later, the car was no longer there. He wondered if someone had stolen it. Wondered, it is in the past. If someone had, so the action of stealing occurred before he found out. If someone had stolen it, the past perfect. This action occurring before this one. Okay, here you can copy the exercises and do them on your own, and then you come back to the video for the correction. Put the verbs in the right tense. Last night, as she was leaving the hotel, she met her uncle. So here, as plus past continuous, she met. Okay, as it's like when. As was leaving the hotel, she met. It means during some activity and suddenly the activity stopped by another action. Number 2. She has changed since she went to Oxford. She has changed since she went to Oxford. Generally, when we use since, we use the present perfect. We use since for already and yet. These are time markers. If you see them, generally we use the present perfect. Since she went, so she went to Oxford first, and then from the time she went to Oxford up to now, the action is still going on. So has changed, present perfect. She wishes she had behaved differently with her parents when she was younger. During her youth, she wished she had behaved differently. Number 4, she would be relieved if she told them the truth. Here it is the conditional, okay? Which type? Is it type 1? Is it type 2 or 3? So we have would be relieved and then told. If I have she will be relieved if she tells. Which type of conditional is it? Number 5. When the blacks come to power, they will celebrate. So here I have the future, and remember, with when I use the present simple to express the future, I do not use the future tense. Next exercise. Mrs. Pringle has worked or has been working. So either the present perfect or the present perfect continuous is the same. Why? Because the present perfect continuous is more and more disappearing. So if you use has been working or has worked for such a long time. Remember, when you see since, for, yet, already, most of the time we use the present perfect. When you come tomorrow at I will still be having my lunch. What does it mean? The future, this is the tense, this is the future continuous. What does it mean? It simply means that from point A to point B, this action will still go on. Number 3, would George be angry if I took his bicycle without asking him? Here, again, another conditional. It seems like this one. Okay, which type? It's the verb and auxiliary inversion. Why? Because it is a question. Number 4, when we arrived at the cinema, the film had already started. You have the past perfect, and when introduces the simple past tense. She has been waiting for. Again, I can say she has waited or she has been waiting for, okay, to make it look longer, for 10 minutes when she heard the buzzer. The last exercise, finish the following sentences. So, since he read the news, remember, since he read the news, he has felt upset. Present perfect. Okay, it should be since for, and then the second clause should be present perfect. By the end of June, by the end of the summer, by the end of 2020, always by the end of plus time, we use the future perfect or future continuous. By the end of June, students will have finished their examination. By the end of December 2020, COVID-19 will have disappeared, for example, or will be disappearing, future continuous. Remember this. Well, I hope these exercises will be of help, and if you have questions, you ask me, and I shall be making a video. It just takes time, to make and edit and make it into the right format. I hope you have understood. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.